Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and this is the breakdown for today, the 9th of October. And guys, I made a silly and stupid mistake that cost me my worst trading day ever since I started this challenge. Today I'm down minus 500 on the account for today, and I'm down $1,000 on the account, so negative. So guys, I'll show you the mistake that I made, a silly and stupid mistake that I made that cost me that. And then I went on tilt and I lost my maximum for the day, which was 500. I set a limit, which is 500, to lock me out of the account. And I got locked out because I hit that limit. So guys, I came into the chat today and I was leading a bit bearish today, bearish then bullish, and I'll show you guys why I was looking for lower prices at the open and then bullish at the after open. So guys, this is today's trading here. We have this order block here. We had this trading yesterday. I was looking for a retracement and then for price to go bullish. That's all I saw on the daily chart. So as you can see, price came down, hit this daily order block and rejected, and now we are trading up. On the 4-hour time frame, that is where I made the mistake. I made this silly mistake. So guys, as you already know, if you have been watching my channel for a while, I look for breakaway gaps on the higher time frame, the 1 hour, the 4 hour, but I mostly like to see it on the 4 hour. So this morning when I was doing my analysis, I actually, especially the breakaway gaps in a breaker. So we had SMT at the lows here, and then we had price making a breaker, which was right here. We made it on ES, but we make a higher high on NQ. So we had price made a low, high, lower low, displaced above the high with two fair value gaps stacked on top of each other. So guys, this is what I did. I actually marked out this. I could take out this one now. I actually marked out this fair value gap as the first fair value gap, which I would want to see price trade to, and this fair value gap as the second fair value gap, which I would not want to see price trade to. So while price was here, I thought that price wouldn't have traded lower down before going up, and actually price did trade lower. So if I'd marked out the fair value gaps right, I would have looked for lower prices for longer than I did this morning, because price this morning price was already in this fair value gap. So I just wanted to see a shallow trade down and then trade up to the highs. So this morning, that's what I was looking for, a shallow trade down and then to the highs. If I had marked out the fair value gaps on the 4 hour right, they would have been marked out like this. So I would have looked for a deeper retracement. So at least for most of the morning session, I would have looked for trades until at least this first fair value gap. So that was the mistake I made this morning that cost me minus 500, because I went on tilt after I lost my couple of trades. So first thing first we do is we check the RTH hours. This is where right price opened this morning. We open on NQ for gap at the top. We open on ES with a gap at the bottom. So that could have been a hint for the choppy price action. Let's go to let's go to this chart. That's NQ. Let's take out some of these. Okay guys, so this was open right here. Before all that, before market open, you guys already know we mark out 7 o'clock, we mark out 8:30, we mark out the highs between 7 o'clock and 8:30. This was the low here on NQ, this was the high on NQ. So guys, we mark out our both open, our 8:30 open and our 12 midnight open. So guys, at open we had a little discrepancy between the two pairs. So we had NQ trading down while ES was trading higher. And next thing that I noticed, that when we have the both open close together, like how we have it here today, price normally chops on that pair or chop on the both pair. As you can see, NQ was a lot choppier than ES. Although NQ was showing the weakness in terms of the SMT that we had on price, we had ES running much smoother on NQ. That could have saved me the loss as well if I had taken the trade on ES. So guys, we do the same for NQ and ES. We mark out the lows and highs between 7 o'clock and 8:30. So at market open 9:30, we had NQ trading down, we had ES trade up and take the highs between 7 o'clock and 8:30, while NQ left the highs in place and traded down towards the low. So we made SMT at the highs, with NQ making a lower low and ES making the higher high. So then we start displacing down. So at this moment we had SMT at the highs and SMT at the lows. So when we have SMT at the highs and the lows, what do? We look for the first SMT to be invalidated. So if the lower SMT, the bearish SMT is invalidated, we look for price to trade bearish for at least for the session, and that is exactly what price did. The highs, the SMT at the highs stayed in place, and we took the lows and price dumped for the morning. So guys, after I saw that price invalidated the SMT on NQ at the lows, I waited for a breakdown with a fair value gap, and here's where we had the fair value gap on NQ. Here we had this fair value gap on NQ, which I took to contract, and my stop was above this other block right here. So I was looking for a 1 to 2 risk reward, because I wasn't looking to hold the trade for that long, because as I told you guys, I made the mistake. I thought that we were only going to trade to the first fair value gap at the top and trade it higher, but we did not. I made a mistake. It should have been should have been the first fair value gap, and the other one would have been down here, which was the breakaway gap. So price went in my favor a bit, and then reversed sharply, retested the 930. The first presented fair value gap at 930, and then chopped around and came back down and traded lower. I was not confident enough to take a next shot when I saw price reversed on me, but what I saw on the 2-minute time frame, I'll show you guys. On the 2-minute time frame, that led me to take a long, knowing that we were in the first 4 hour fair value gap. That led me in taking a long, thinking that price was going to reverse around that area, because I didn't want to see price trade lower. I think it was right here. So we had this single pass down and this single pass up. That would have been a balanced price range here, with a single pass down with this bearish candle and this single pass up with this bullish candle. So I took a buy at the top of here. I didn't want it to see price traded back down to that balanced price range. So I was in a long about that area here, and price immediately came back down and took me out. So when price took me out here, on the short, I entered a long. Price took me out on the long as well. On the ES, when I saw that we made the SMT at the lows, as I told you guys, I was looking for higher prices, and I thought that this was the first fair value gap, which should have been this one, should have been the first one. I thought that we made SMT, and I surprised displacing up. As I told you guys, I was looking for higher prices, a shallow trade down, and then higher prices for the day. And I saw NES trading, displacing up. I took a long above these highs. Price ended up failing me right here because it was displacing up. So I went in a small profit, and then I just closed out the trade because I didn't see price continue displacing up. So I closed the trade for about small profit on this here. That's where I got my 2 loss here, 1 loss there, 1 loss here. So when I saw price was trading lower, that's when I got mad, and I was mad with myself. And I checked the higher time frame, and I saw that I made the mistake. I was mad with myself. But then I end up waiting on price, and I was looking for price to tip it hand to show me that it was ready to trade higher or trade to the all-time highs. And that is where I got a trade for higher prices here. When price broke this place, that means we were in the first fair value gap on the forward time frame. Price this place above this high, left this fair value gap. I was waiting for price to come back in to this fair value gap to continue higher. But I see it was hesitating to trade lower into this fair value gap. So when it traded down to the high of this, I took 2 contracts. I went in profit for a while. I was looking for these highs up here before I took profit. I was like 200 plus in profit. Then I put a limit here for one of my contract in case it wanted to come back to test this fair value gap, because it didn't test this fair value gap before it ended up trading higher. So price reverse took me out of the first contract for a small profit. Came back down, didn't take this lows, and then this place up again. At this moment, I left the chart with my stops in place and my take profit at the highs in place, and I left the chart. So price came back up, and then reverse took me out for for a small loss with the 1 contract had remained. I also took the same trade on ES, knowing that NQ would have been choppy, or NQ was choppy. I took 2 contract also on ES with the same stops here, and I was looking for these equal highs for my first partial. But price came down again on ES and took me out. I set a limit here also to take out 1 contract here, and the rest, the other 1 contract, I had my stops here. But price reverse here, then push up back, made SMT. If I wasn't in a trade, that would have been a beautiful trade, because we had equal lows here. So when price made SMT at discount of the range right here, we end up trading to discount of the range, 50% of the range right here on NQ, and we had the SMT right here. This would have been a beautiful trade. After we had the SMT, price chopped around, and then we got that displacement. We got that displacement lower. Fair value gap would have been our entry for the equal lows, at least to the equal lows. So this trade would have looked something like this. That would have been an easy 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. So that would have been an easy 1 to 2 risk to reward ratio. But I was in the longs still, and then price came down, took me out. When I saw price took me out, took the equal lows and did a shallow displacement. As I can see, this is not even displacement. So that's where I went on tilt here, because I saw price breaking with a little displacement above these highs. End up taking 2 contract here again. Price reversed immediately and took me out of this 2 contract. On this, that is where price made that reversal when it tests the breakaway gap on the 4 hour. We test the breakaway gap on the forward. As you can see, price didn't have the ability to even trade to 3/4 of the forward fair value gap. This was a real displacement with a fair value gap right here. Traded above this high here, came back down into fair value gap. I actually took this on my practice account. Yes, so as you can see, I took this on my practice account, and price came back down into the fair value gap. I missed it on the first one. When it came back down here, I took 20 contracts, 210, and then price traded up, took partial here above these highs, and I left the rest to connect partial there, and I took off the rest here almost at market close. So guys, as you can see, if I didn't make that silly mistake, I would have waited for lower prices. I would have looked for price to trade deeper, lower, instead of looking for a shallow trade down and then for price to trade up, because my model presented itself easily this morning there, and I would have followed my model, and easily I would have bagged some profit this morning for sure. Because guys, when price traded above these two open, the 12 o'clock open and the 8:30 open, we were in a deep premium, so price had to trade lower to discount before it end up trading higher. If I'd taken the same trade I took on NQ, that's why I think that the market hates me. Trust me, the market hates me. More and more I look at it, the market hates me, because NQ was the weaker pair. NQ was the weaker pair, so I took the trade on NQ, and ES ended up dumping a lot more than NQ. So that was the same trade. A break above the lows here with displacement. If I'd taken this trade, I would have taken it on the first fair value gap, stops above the same order block. Price would have come up, test the fair value gap here, return it to this fair value gap, not even close to where it went with NQ, and then to have dumped, and that would have been an easy 1 to 2 risk reward. And then, as you can see, price would have dumped further. So I really believe that the market truly hates me, because when I trade the weaker pair, the weaker pair end up being the stronger pair. When I trade the stronger pair, the stronger pair end up being the weaker pair. But guys, I'm not giving up. I've been at it for almost 7 years. I'm yet to get a payout. I'm yet to see result, but I'm not giving up, because I know the ability of trading. I know if I can grasp this concept, if I can gain this skill, I know that can put me in a good place, that can make me help my family and help the people around me. I know. That's why I'm not giving up. I'll keep at it. So guys, if you find value in this video, if you find this video was educational, if you find it was insightful, please drop a like, comment, share, subscribe to the channel. Peace out.